Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. I make videos about Dungeons & Dragons lore full-time thanks to your generous support, shares and views, with multiple uploads every week to help share the rich history of monsters, locations and mythologies of D&D. The Uthgardt Barbarians of the far north of the continent of Faerun are justifiably famous, but how much is known of their origins, culture and history? As it turns out, quite a lot, so settle back, grab a beverage. We're about to get deeply nerdy as we delve deep into the history and people of the Sword Coast and the far north. To begin with the source of the Uthgardt, the land that birthed the legendary hero Uthgar is the island called Ruartham, located in the trackless sea further north of the Moonshae Isles. If one sets out due west from Waterdeep, sails past the Whalebones Islands, it's just over 500 miles to Ruartham, a land of bold, proud humans and a seagoing breed of dwarves. Described as a rocky and forbidding island, this is very much like a Forgotten Realms fantasy version of ancient Norway, covered in sacred pine trees that are protected largely to prevent total deforestation due to shipbuilding. But it's become a spiritual belief, such was the importance of the ecology of the people there, one which has translated itself into the Uthgardt Barbarians. The population are a lusty, violent people who cleansed the island of monstrous creatures long ago and have long been consummate sea raiders, known as the Northmen. Ruartham is also the ancestral home of the Northmen who settled the Moonshae Isles. The island is a regular combatant with the coastal city of Luskan. Ruartham is united under the iron grip of First Axe Ormark Lithal, who consolidated 4 petty kingdoms on the island into a single unified nation during the war with Luskan in 1357 DR. Now, turning our attention to the far northern shores of Faerun and the arrival of humans there, Ilefan was an elven city-state that founded during the first flowering in -22,900 DR, survived the Crown Wars and grew into an expansive nation that later fragmented into smaller realms. It was in -1100 DR that the elven coronal Silglaeth Uldark called for his people to move to Evermeet. Over the next 7.5 centuries, the many elves abandoned their homes, and of the last 7 millennia, and Ilefan's population dwindled, separating finally into 3 smaller kingdoms that had once been Ilefan's principalities: Ardeep, Iliabruin, and Rilathar. Sharandar became the capital of Iliabruin, which encompassed most of Neverwinter Wood. Iliabruin was also known for its help in repelling the Orc marches from Highvale in -111 DR, and it repelled the Alaskan Orc expansion in -12 DR. By 152 DR, the Orcs were once again a serious threat. Elven outposts in the spine of the world were overwhelmed, and in 151 DR, and Alask was again overrun, becoming the Orcish settlement of Aargrok. Human refugees began to swamp Iliabruin. To halt the tide, the host of Iliabruin marched to war against the Orcs, in a campaign which lasted over 20 years. The face and nature of Iliabruin was changed completely, and in 175 DR, the Orcs of the Severed Hand of Aargrok sacked Port Last, formerly Grathshold, and much of the city's population travelled south to Erigrestor and safety. In 177 DR, the elves of Iliabruin, with assistance from detachments from Rilathar and Ardeep, destroyed the Orcs of the Severed Hand of Aargrok, though the effort cost much of their strength. Within 3 years, Iliabruin was no more. Many of its Moon Elf inhabitants travelled west to Evermeet, or south to Ardeep, leaving only scattered Wood Elf settlements and the abandoned capital of Sharadar. Many elves had fallen against the Orcs or departed for Evermeet. With victory achieved, the few remaining elves under Lord Never settled Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil was an Alaska refugee settlement, which was renamed Neverwinter in the Elf Lord's honour. With the city's founder, Haluerth Never, was hunted to the coast by the Orcs, he chose the city's site to become his last stand. Expecting to die in the imminent battle, he named the site Never's Winter. When the Orcs were defeated, with help from some human allies, Never founded the city, keeping the name over the years, which was shortened to become Neverwinter. In 342 DR, the last council of Ilefan chose to retreat fully to Evermeet, leaving the Sword Coast. But we're skipping ahead a bit. We need to wind it back a bit, where we find the life and times of Uthgar, the Battle Father. Born Uthgar Gardolfsson, the son of Gardolf Börunur, Thane of Ruartham, Uthgardt grew up to be a fierce warrior and great tactician like his father, though had less moral compunctions than him when it came to personal combat. He yearned for true battle rather than just sparring, and as soon as he came of age, Uthgardt rallied enough followers to fill a fleet of ships, becoming a thane like his father. He set sail as soon as possible and sacked Bjorn's hold, returning with furs and fish aplenty, but no treasure that his people could covet. Uthgardt set off again with his fleet to the mainland, which the Ruthens at the time called the Great Island, and slaughtered the rulers of Alask's magocratic government in 95 DR. Expecting to be lauded as a hero for destroying the heathen spellcasters, he was surprised when he was accused of being a barbarian and driven further inland by its citizens who burned his ships. Uthgardt and his followers survived the myriad dangers of the surrounding lands, however, and raided every town they encountered. Many of the survivors of these raids were impressed by Uthgardt's martial and tactical prowess, joining his forces. Sometimes entire villages swore fealty to him. However, Uthgardt felt like it was his duty to protect the villages under his control, and when an orc horde swept down from the spine of the world, he and his followers faced it in battle. Uthgardt entered into combat with Gert, Lord of the Pale Giants, during the attack and sustained mortal wounds in an epic battle. When he succumbed to them on the site that would become Morgur's Mound, his followers declared themselves the Uthgardt in his honour, separating themselves into tribes named after spirits that he was said to have tamed. Tempus rewarded him by elevating him to demigodhood. Later, probably thanks to further exploits in the celestial planes, Uthgardt became an exarch of Tempus. He was first described as the founder of the Uthgardt Barbarian tribes in The Savage Frontier, written by Paul Jacques and published in 1988 for the first edition of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, just prior to the publication of second edition AD&D, where he appears again in Powers and Pantheons, and he's become a part of the game ever since. The most sacred sites to the Uthgardt are the ancient ancestor mounds. The mounds are the tribe's sacred burial grounds, and it is here that they inter the bodies of their greatest chieftains, most heroic warriors, and most venerated spiritual leaders. Most tribes also believe that the bones of their founders rest beneath their respective ancestor mounds, and it is that belief that makes the sites the centre of Uthgardt's spiritual life. Many of the tribes return their ancestor mounds at specific times of the year in order to celebrate their holy days. Some make their winter camps near these sites so that they may enjoy the protection of their ancestors during the most trying and dangerous times of the year. All the ancestor mounds are constructed in a similar manner. Two outer rings built from rocks surrounding a larger altar mound. Both the outer rings and the central mound function as cairns, and the tribes bury the bodies of their honoured dead beneath each. The outer cairn rings are for the mighty warriors, which merit burial at an ancestor mound by virtue of valorous deeds. The altar mound is reserved for the great chieftains and clerics of the tribe. Normally, only tribal clerics know the exact location of the remains interred within the mounds, and this knowledge is guarded jealously. The burial rites themselves vary from tribe to tribe. Among the Black Lions, for example, the entire tribe participates in the burial service, while among the Red Tigers, only the clerics may perform the sacred rites. After the rest of the tribe has paid its final respects to the dead, they perform the burial in secret. Most folk living nearby give the ancestor mounds a wide berth. Tales and legends concerning the grisly fate of those who foolishly attempt to violate an ancestor mound serve to heighten the aura of mystery and danger that surrounds those sites. It's also commonly believed that the vengeful spirits and ghostly forces guard the mounds against would-be intruders or tomb robbers. In truth, the only guards at the ancestor mounds are those placed there by the tribe. In some tribes, such as the Red Tigers and the Black Ravens, defending the ancestor mound against possible defilers is considered one of the highest honours. So, the various tribes of the Uthgardt are a diverse lot. The Uthgardt originally consisted of Northmen raiders from Ruthven, Netherese, Runlanthan refugees, and various others who swore fealty to Uthgardt around 100 DR, including those of Ilask. Outside of the far northern reach, the typical Uthgardt is tall, with black hair and blue eyes. However, they don't all look like that, and the far northern barbarians of Icewind Dale are tall and typically fair-haired, such as the most famous member of the Elk tribe, Wulfgar, son of Burnagar, companion of Drista-Erd, Catty Breed, Regis the Halfling, and Ruiner Battlehammer. Uthgardt is 7 feet tall, or was 7 feet tall, and almost supernaturally strong, able to toss a 300-pound man across a room with one arm. Each of the Uthgardt tribes takes its name from one of Uthgardt's spirit animal friends. The Sky Pony tribe venerate the Pegasus, and they wear white face paint representing wings, decorate their tents and sacred objects with feathers, and their shaman wear white robes with white sleeves that look like wings when they dance. They are fanatical followers of Tempest, and their sacred mound is called the One Stone. They range across a wide area, including the Nether Mountains, Sunderbar Vale, and Silver Marches. They have a special relationship with the Pegasus, including the ability of the shaman to summon one. Well, the full extent of the shaman's power is not well documented, but there was an instance where the strongest warrior of a tribe was consumed in a ritual that summoned a powerful Pegasus spirit. Formerly, the Red Pony and Golden Eagle tribes shared the One Stone with the Sky Ponies, but those tribes vanished into the Underdark in 576 DR, where they have since become Grimlocks, living in and around the Cavern of Cloven Heads. I'd be interested in that story. The Grey Wolf tribe can be encountered often travelling with a wolf pack as far west as the Sword Coast and as far east as Delimber Vale. Their ancestral mound is the Raven Rock, shared by the Black Raven tribe, located near the waters of the Black Raven River in the spine of the world. The Grey Wolf tribe members all share a similar supernatural ability. They are all lycanthropes, able to turn into wolves under the light of the full moon. The cause of this can be traced back to a time when the Underdark city of Gauntlgrim, only 12 years after it had been finally resettled in its turbulent history, was invaded in 153 DR by lycanthropes and illithids, causing refugees to flee to the surface, where many were absorbed by the Grey Wolf tribe, and with the new members the tribe had also acquired the curse of the werewolf. However, thanks to their spirit totem, they have control over their curse and their savage nature, such that any member who decides to leave the tribe can also easily be cured of the condition within the following year. As the Grey Wolf tribe regards this condition as more of a sacred link to their totem, they hunt down and kill any victims who survive their attacks, preventing the spread of lycanthropy amongst any non-Uthgardt. The Thunderbeast tribe lives in the High Forest region. Their ancestral mound was Morgur's mound, but it was desecrated and the skeletons and treasure relics were stolen, preventing them from practicing their sacred rites during the holy day known as Runemeet. They have since travelled to the land of the Elk tribe during Runemeet to practice their rites at the Flint Rock. The Thunderbeast tribe is known as one of the least barbaric tribes of the Uthgardt, but they still don't practice agriculture. They have long regarded the secret that ancient Thunderbeasts still live in the High Forest and have always considered wolves to be their enemies for some reason. Runemeet is a holy day of Uthgardt, held on the autumn equinox when the Uthgardt tribes travel to their respective ancestor mound, or to Bjorn as well as the holiest of all sites, for rites, pacts, and summoning with ancestors. Communing with ancestors. This is the time when they settle disputes officially. Juvenile members of the tribe gain full recognition as full tribe members by going off on deadly hunts, where they must return with the trophy of one of their tribe's ritual enemies. Marriages are recognised, proclamations are made, and so forth. Keep in mind that the Uthgardt tribes almost never gather together in great numbers. About the only time this happens is during times of war, such as the War of the Silver Marches, which resulted in great losses among their people. Probably isn't going to be repeated anytime soon. The Elk tribe territory traditionally includes the Evermoors, the Desserin, and the Lower Suberin valleys, as far north as the land between Yatar and Nona's Hold. Their ancestral mound is Flint Rock, and they have once more become a tribe that shuns civilization, considered to be one of the most arrogant and self-indulgent tribes of Uthgardt. They consider other people to be beneath them, and regularly raid merchant caravans and travellers, even taking and selling captives as slaves. They have relatively recently taken on the worship of Talos, and long included the worship of Auril. So you could say they have strayed quite far from the noble aspect of Uthgardt, and are not much better than brigands, who follow the seasonal migrations of elk. It may be the influence of the clerics of Talos, god of storms and destruction, that caused them to hate the ruins of the ancient world. If they are able, they will seek to lay waste to ancient Netherese and Elephant artifacts and structures, particularly those with magical or religious aspects to them. The Great Worms tribe's territory encompasses the mountains surrounding Great Worm Cavern and Fell Pass, and the Frost Hills and Lurkwood, and the northern reaches of the Silver Marches, with Great Worm Cavern also acting as their ancestral mound, led by the warmongering chieftain named Wormblood. They are known to enslave white dragons and have access to many locations in the Underdark. Little is known of the inside of the caves, but stories abound of a large altar depicting stylized representations of a great spiraling winged snake, and this area is sacred to all Uthgardt because it was where Elrim the Wise, Uthgardt's own son, lived. One of the most powerful tribes is that of the Griffin, mostly thanks to their chieftains Kralgar Bonesnapper and his grandson Halric Bonesnapper. Their ancestral mound was a large cavern and tunnel burial cairn complex called Shining White, thanks to the uncovered chalk floor and white marble pillars. This sacred place was once inhabited by frost giants, including the famous Gertie Orrel's daughter. I'm not sure if this is still a giant hangout or not. So if you know, let me know in the comments down below. The Griffin tribe actually has a large permanent settlement called Griffin's Nest, located in the grassy hill country west of Shining Creek, consisting of over 20 large thatched log huts, long hall and warehouses surrounded by a log palisade. They even have farms scattered around this area. I should mention though that the Uthgardt did not originally build these structures. They took them as spoils of combat and from a band of half-orc brigands. The Griffin tribe has declared war on the cities of the north, with their eventual goal being the conquest and acquisition of one of the region's cities. Scattered, unallied clans that typically seek benefits from these cities have often joined together with the Griffin tribe, increasing their ranks dramatically. The Blue Bear tribe has been separated, with the Tree Ghost tribe breaking off from them in 1313 DR, before the Blue Bear's shaman and chieftain Tantra Hagara led the tribe into defeat because the Blue Bears were destroyed in the Battle of Hellgate Keep. Their totem was absorbed by Malar, the Beast Lord. Most believe that this was the end of the Blue Bear tribe, but actually the survivors were careful to stay hidden when travelling to and from their spirit mound at Stone Stand, preserving the myth that they were extinct. The tribe's great chief is a canny old woman named Krieger Moonmusk, who travels in a fur-draped chair carried by 4 tribal warriors. The Blue Bear tribe has slowly been regathering its strength from the small bands who have been wandering their unclaimed territories from the Nentha Mountains to the northern edge of the High Moor. Who knows if they will ever redeem their reputation among the other tribes after their corruption and alliance with the stone giant Thane and their terrible defeat at Hellgate Keep. Meanwhile, the Tree Ghost tribe have forsaken the spirit animal totems of Uthgardt and become the self-declared protectors of the Grandfather Tree. Rarely seen, these Uthgardt shared the high forest with the regional native elves, living among the Tree Ghosts were members of various other Uthgardt tribes who found their way to the Great Father Tree and gained some measure of enlightenment, such that they forsook their tribal allegiances and pledged to help the Tree Ghosts to protect the tree, particularly from the Ice Shield Orcs. Grandfather Tree is an Arcor, an elder form of treant, and by elder I mean really elder. He was summoned by the ancient elves of Arivandur in minus 12,500 DR to guard the Hall of Mists, which still lays under his mighty roots. Minus 12,500 DR, that's one old treant. The Red Tiger tribe is mostly active in the Silver Marches, primarily in the Cold Woods, where there are somewhere around 1,000 of them, but like their snowcat totem beast, the tribe acts aggressively and solitarily. They hunt in very small family groups roaming the north. The role in their tribes is very traditional, with men being the hunters and women being the gatherers, and the men hunt and bring down prey by themselves, without assistance and really without any equipment. They're quite primitive. Their preferred weapons are short wooden handles with 3 very sharp stone daggers, which they use like tiger claws. The Red Tigers were loyal to King Gundar Brontoskin of the Thunder Beasts, who won their respect during a Runemeat rune hunt by bringing back the skin of a Lucrota, slain with only a pair of tiger claws. The Red Tiger's ancestor mound is Bioruna's Well, which they share with the Black Lions. In 1372 DR, the Black Lions gave up their nomadic ways to settle down in the rough stockade town near the well, and the Red Tigers do not think much of their kin for choosing to take up the ways of the soft Southerners. Quarrels between the two tribes have turned deadly on more than one occasion. As of 1485 DR, the great chief of the Red Tigers is a ruthless but cautious woman named Shiriska Hungermore. The Black Lion tribe inhabits the township near the well, and from the general Moonlands region of the Silver Marches. They are unlike most other Uthgardt Barbarians, having abandoned their nomadic hunter-gatherer ways and their raiding ways. They farm crops and trade with others in the region. In addition to forsaking the old ways of the north, the Black Lions no longer revere their totem animals or Uthgar. Many clerics of the tribe took up worship of Helm, or the gods of the Triad, which are Tyr, the maimed god, god of justice, Ilmater, the broken god, god of suffering and compassion, and Torm, the true, god of duty. After a couple of centuries of logging, trapping, and trading with Cuervar and Sundvar, the Black Lion tribe's new leaders are getting a bit more restless again, with the great chief Stalok Kilravi being a fearsome warrior and quite an interesting figure, wearing armour of cured orc hides. He and his younger sister, the shaman Tysus Kilravi, being devout followers of Uthgar, have very little love of civilization and diplomacy, so we'll see where this takes the tribe in the future. Finally, the Black Raven tribe, a particularly conservative band of the Uthgardt who reside at Raven Rock. The tribe claims the icy foothills west of Mirabar, as well as the ice lakes and the land west of the Frozen Far. Black Raven warriors often ride giant ravens into battle. Foreign merchants and missionaries travelling the northern means and the Blackford Road are frequently attacked by the fierce barbarians, who have a justified reputation for violence and an unwillingness to change their ways, their ancient tribal traditions, for anything. Raven Rock is located near the headwaters of the Black Raven River in the spine of the world, as I mentioned. All in all, the Uthgardt people are proud, formidable, and strong humans. They love the wild. Even the nomadic group of fair-haired, red-haired men, barbarians living in the tundra that comprises Icewind Dale, have a deep love of wide-open permafrost spaces, which are bleak and harsh to most others. Just a reminder, please click on the like button if you enjoyed this content. Subscribe to the channel to receive multiple video uploads from me every week. Those who wish to explore the links in the description text under the video, you'll see links to my Patreon page where you can get access to all of my scripts for these videos, as well as some exclusive content. Also check out the merchandise for the channel. Identify yourself to your chosen people. Wear some D&D swag. Also keep yourself looking your best at a great price with Patron Blades subscriptions, shaveware boxes, and come chat with the community on the Mighty Glue Stick Discord server. You might even set yourself up with a game. As always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon.